What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. You'll have to excuse me. I'm just setting my watch here this morning. Beautiful Daytona, as you guys can see. Those of you who know I'm a watch fan would appreciate that one if you're also a watch fan. We've got another watch fan that's coming in on this episode. We are starting a brand new segment on the show, and it's with none other than my brother from another mother, the one and only Ryan Halbert. Bring Ryan in for me, please. Let's get this show on the road. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Well, I mean, besides the fact that I've, just basically looked in the camera as I turned my camera on and realized that I beat myself up in my sleep last night. I'm doing fantastic. Wearing the Daytona today, so feeling great. Maybe might go by create a new
nickname. Brought it up. I got the old. See if that'll focus in. The old Yacht Master.
Beautiful.
Rolex Yacht Master, my favorite one.
Beautiful. Well, man, we are going to be taking some questions. This is a new segment on the show called Ryan Throws Dave Questions. Okay, that's the new. We'll come up with a better name in the future, but marketing's about throwing spaghetti at the wall, my friends, and seeing what's going to stick. If you guys don't know Ryan, okay, Ryan is our head marketing coach here at Legendary, and he actually has a pretty unique story about coming into online marketing in the first place. Basically, you were starting this right as COVID hit, and you got COVID, started your business, ended up in the hospital on a ventilator, lost your business when you got out, your mechanic business, and then thankfully had some ads running and some stuff before you went into the hospital, came out, had some revenue and some hope coming in your new online business, where your old mechanic business had shut down while you were in the hospital. We're certainly thankful that you don't have COVID and didn't pass away from COVID. Still thankful you don't have it today, of course. But your life has changed in a little over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, since you started this, 2 or 3 years, something like that. It's happened fairly quickly for you. Just for people who don't kind of know who you are, how would you describe the experience over the last couple of years, just in a nutshell?
Yeah. So we're creeping on about 4 years since I originally enrolled in the 15-day challenge at the time. But it's been completely life-changing. So there's a lot of, there was a lot of fear in the beginning, definitely for me. So actually fear about making that transition. So kind of, and uncertainty too. So uncertainty of like, is this really what I want? Is this really going to continue to work? And all of those types of things. And then I got hit with COVID, and that was very end of 2021, December 2021, right before Christmas. And so I was in the hospital and forced to make the transition. And actually, probably before I was ready to do it, honestly, I was thinking about that, but wasn't quite ready. And it kind of, the miracle happened while I was in there. I mean, if we've talked about, I had some ads running, which had some commissions rolling in steady, but then I had a video go like really mega viral that I posted, right shortly before actually going in. I actually had COVID in the video. Like I was in the video I made, I hadn't had the respiratory or the voice hoarseness set in yet. So you couldn't tell I was sick, but I was, I had a headache cranking, and it was not a pleasant day. But no, it's incredible how it's changed, because I've been able to move to Florida, which, and I've always wanted to do that. Big reason for that was just to get away from the distractions, get away from people that I didn't need to be around anymore. So, and I'm kind of a hermit. I like to be by myself, and I like to just have my kind of wife around and, keep people at more than an arm's length. So moving to Florida was good for that. Plus, there's not supposed to be any snow. Some of us on the Panhandle have 7 inches of it this morning. Luckily, that's not me or you. And no, but the other big major thing is just being able to wake up and do something every day that you don't hate doing, because that's what started in the first place. It was just waking up every morning like this pissed off little troll, angry at the world, mad and frustrated that it's like, ugh, another day of this shit again. And that was every single day. And but I had this business. I put all this work and capital, and I had insurance policies, and I had a small loan I took out for equipment and stuff that I would pay on every month. And luckily, once I sold all my stuff, I was able to just pay that stuff off, and I didn't have to carry it with me. But that it was like, it wasn't something I could just walk away from. I couldn't just quit and go get another job. I was just, but I did get to that point. I was doing the math at certain points in time, trying to figure out my bank statements. Could I just go serve drinks or something and not have to do this anymore? Like, I would rather do that. But luckily, I never have to. So I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes I kind of just sit back and think about it when I'm not, when I got nothing in front of me, and I just kind of think like, man, nobody's able to do what I did. Most people quit way before they get where I got to. So that's something that's kind of like a selfish, proud moment.
And I mean, I'm having a blast working with you. It's so fun that you were a student, who came through this, and that's just fun for me. And I love your story, and you're hilarious. So keep being you. Shoot me some questions, man. We have, tell us kind of how you've gathered these questions, and sort of what the intention of mixing it up a little bit on the podcast, on the Wake Up Legendary show here is from your perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as where I got the questions, so I got a couple ways. So there's some questions that I get asked nonstop that I'm like, all right, we got to talk about them here. So let's see what Dave has to say. The other piece too is I also just kind of combed through our Facebook groups, and I actually found, without too much time going into it, that a lot of the same questions in one way or another are there. So I summarized them. I have a couple that are word for word. We're like, all right, I'm going to ask this one. But I did summarize them to an extent. And so a lot of people I know have these questions.
All right. Well, let me just get ready for them. You know what I mean? Because I want to give you the best that I got. Loosen up the rotator cup here. Okay. Hamstrings feel loose. All right. Hit me with the first one.
Yeah. So the first one here, this is the most commonly asked one. So I'm a brand new affiliate, and I'm getting denied to the affiliate programs that I'm applying for because I don't have any followers or a website. What should I do? Get followers. Pretty much, right?
Start creating content, friends. We've been saying this a lot more, and we have said this in live training. We've said this on Wake Up Legendary, and we want to continue to repeat it. So those of you who are running into this, hear it. If you are running into not being able to be approved for the affiliate programs that you want, you need to focus on audience building for 30 days. Just focus on audience building. If you went and you started a brick and mortar business, trust me, you'd spend the first 30 days or whatever cutting through red tape, shopping for your equipment. You wouldn't be out there making money anyways. If you went to college, the first 30 days would be enrolling, 60 days. Hell, the first 4 years, you'd be sitting in a classroom, and then a lot of careers, 2 more years of internship, no money, nothing but debt. So slow your roll a little bit. I know you're excited to go and make money. That's the bottom line. I know you're excited to see results, to see sales, to see conversions, but you got to take one step at a time. And some of you need to step back and just focus on audience building and content creation. It'd actually do some of you good to get warm with video and not even worry about if you have set up funnels, and if you have worked on that kind of stuff and you feel, oh, I'm set up, now I'm going to go apply to affiliate programs and get approved. And it's like, why? I got all funnels set up and all that. Time out. Put that to the side. Focus on posting videos, because they want to see that you have content on the page. They want to see what your messaging is, and spend 30 days building up that audience and not worrying about money, not worrying about applying to a, because here's the other thing that's going to do. If you actually give value to your audience for a certain amount of time without asking for anything, just giving them the call to action, follow this page for more free content like this. Follow this page for more free videos like this. Follow, if you like this, follow this page for more training. If you like this, hit the little follow button and you'll get more of this for free on your timeline. Those sort of calls to action become the call to action instead of go click my link in my bio and get my thing and give me your email, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a simple, less threatening, follow my page for more free tips like this to help you with XYZ. And then you move on to more content to build up that audience so you have what the product creators are looking for, which is an audience to sell to, and they can see kind of how you're selling and the types of content you're creating.
Man, hit the nail on the head with that one, you know, and it changes the way you end up making content too, kind of for forever, right? So you start on the basis of, oh, I need to make a sale, right? From that very first video, if it's just all about making a sale, it kind of changes the way you make the videos, makes it harder to build that audience that's there genuinely because you're there genuinely.
Sure.
So awesome. Cool, man. Well, that was a pretty solid answer. There's really not anything I can add to it. I don't know if I can make it better at all. So we'll run with that. I like it. Cool. So this next one I got this is actually based on a call I had recently. So I've been creating content for a few months, but not seeing any progress. A friend looked at my videos and she said that in my videos, I seemed like a different person. Now, when I look at my videos, I can see what she means, but I didn't know I was doing this. Any advice?
What was the first part of the question again?
So I've been creating content for a few months. I've been creating content for a few months, but not seeing any progress. I had a friend look at my videos and she said that in my videos, I seemed like a different person. So we have like an imposter syndrome going on. And when she looks at her own videos, she didn't even realize she was doing this, but she could see it now. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes we have friends that give us advice that is valuable. Maybe this is one of those times you have a friend that's honest enough with you, that's not going to cut you down or criticize you, but just says, I mean, to me, that feels like genuine feedback. Hey, friend, it doesn't seem like you're acting yourself in these videos. Be you. You're awesome. You're good enough. You got a great, whatever it is. Sounds like you have a good friend. Number one, be thankful that you have a friend that, you know, didn't criticize you or cut you down, or that's cool. I just want to acknowledge that for a second, and gratitude and shout out to all the good friends out there. They're few and far between. Can I get an amen in the comments on that? Look, I mean, imposter syndrome is something that we all deal with or have dealt with, and going a few months with little to no results is not uncommon. I mean, in my 15-year career, there's been years where I, you know, felt like I wasn't getting results or getting anywhere. You don't need every year to be a big year. You just need a couple of the years in there to be a big year, right? And the rest of them to be good years, right? So you have time to improve upon this sort of personality, authenticity thing you're trying to maybe, you know, hone in. And I get it. It's hard. It's hard to loosen up and be yourself. You want to fix things. I mean, I just logged onto the computer, you know, because I looked at myself in the mirror, of course, when I woke up this morning. I was like, no, I didn't quite do that, but sort of. You know, I'm dripping blood from my nose here, and I'm like, oh, let me just wet that and clean that. Then I sit down at the camera, and I've got like a big, you know, war wound here where I must have punched myself in my sleep. You know, I want to go and run and, you know, throw a little makeup on that. That's one of the tricks that I've used for 15 years. It's like, let me go throw a little makeup on something, you know, if I got like a zit or something. You know, it's an old trick. Doesn't make any less of a man, fellas. We're out here making money, but I didn't even get up and go worry about it. It's like, I mean, it's like, who gives a shit? At the end of the day, what I create today is I mean, unless it goes super viral, it's not even going to be remembered, right? And I'm going to be creating something new tomorrow. So I need to work on getting comfortable in my skin in front of the camera. That's something that I just need to do. And it's something that we all need to do. And it doesn't come overnight. But if you've got good friends and good coaches in your circle giving you feedback like she gave you and giving you feedback like I'm giving you now, you're headed in the right direction. So don't quit before the miracle happens.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's, when you're posting this content, people will know you. You'll be remembered for basically how they met you. So if you're being an imposter and you're kind of feeling like a fraud today, then you change it. You start making those adjustments, and when the momentum happens, that's what they'll know you for. You're not going to have a bunch of people that are going to know you for those days where you might have embellished on something, or you might have did something that wasn't all you. So it's not an unfixable problem. It's not a catastrophic situation, really. It's just kind of part of dialing it in, honestly.
The other thing to think about is that, like, I do turn it up 10, 15, maybe 20% sometimes when I'm on camera to like, I wouldn't do, Ryan, if you were sitting in front of me, I wouldn't do this, but I would do it on camera because it catches attention. If I do something like this, like throw my hands at the screen or throw my hat, or you all have seen me do them. They're fun. They're fun. Oh, shit, Dave's going off, throwing his hat off. But it's also that extra energy that I bring to the camera that I don't bring particularly in real life conversations. Doesn't mean that I'm not authentic. Ryan, you're around me all the time. It's just that it'd be weird to be this intense as I am if a person was one-on-one. So you're allowed to kind of not only bring yourself through your imposter syndrome back up to your baseline of who you are, right? But it's also okay to give a little bit more, give a little performance, give a little bit extra on camera, because it will come through better. And ultimately, we are in the business of both education and entertainment. Okay, we are in the business. All content creators are entertainers. I don't care if you are just teaching something. You strive to teach it in an entertaining way. And so once you bring yourself up to baseline and it's like, okay, I'm myself, but it doesn't quite feel like I'm a content creator, right? Doesn't quite feel like, I look at other people's content and then I look at mine and it's like, they just seem more excited, or they just seem more like they've got A-type personalities, or whatever bullshit you're telling yourself. In reality, content creators are like putting in that extra 15 to 20% of animation or tonality in their tone or excitement in front of the camera, because it helps translate that energy and that attention grabbingness through the camera better than if you were just your normal self. So also what I'm saying is, be yourself, and also don't be afraid to throw a little extra. You know what I mean?
Yep. A little seasoning to spice it up.
Do your thing. Have fun. It's like, that's the other thing, is have fun. Here is what I'm going to give you, the secret to sales. And it's about, Ryan, this is a big deal. And I'm talking about selling products and services. I'm talking about selling people that you're attracted to. Okay. So this works in attraction as well. And also child influence. Okay. Parenthood or guardianship. Here's the secret. Make it look like you're having fun. Make it look like you're having fun, whatever it is that you're doing. And people will want to be a part of it. So if your kid's over there, let me reverse engineer this. If your kid's over there and not doing what you want or whatever, and just walk over and act like you're having fun doing something else.
Yep. I see that.
You're dating, or you want to reignite the passion in your relationship. Don't nag, bug, stand there and say, look at me. Go act like you're having fun. And the person that you're trying to attract will be like, damn, they'll want to be a part of what you're doing. It'll look more appealing, rather than texting and then texting an hour later. Did you get my text? That's not powerful attraction. Now we talk about it in the sense of content creation and marketing. The same thing. More you have fun, the more that people want to be a part of it, and the more that you actually enjoy what you're doing. So imagine you make no money at all, but you have the absolute time of your life, and you're having so much fun doing this, and you're growing, and you're acting a fool, and you're stopping giving a shit what people think, and you're coming out of your shell, and all the things. That's all fun stuff, guys. It's actually letting your hair out. It's actually putting your corporate voice away. We all know the voice. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. I would like to, I can't even do it. It's been so long, but you know what you do when you go into corporate mode. Just have fun, and people want to be a part of what you're doing. And so, yeah, I would say don't just be yourself as a content creator and a marketer. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of extra spice so you have more fun. And then people who are watching, you're like, yo, this is fun. This is entertaining. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's like they see you feeling good, and they want to feel good, so it just brings them right over. It's like you said, it's like attractive, right? Oh, I want to feel good too, right? They might be doing something to attempt to feel good, and now they see you feeling good doing something else, so they want a part of that. Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
We got Kendra with it's probably your customer service voice, right? Yeah. Anthony gets it, the corporate voice. Oh no, it's my voice, says Carrie. Right, we get it. Like loosen all that up and have a little fun, because there's no rules and there's no HR department. You can pretty much wow out there. So it's like, have fun. What is fun to you? That's what you should do more of. How is it more fun to deliver content? How is it more fun for you? What is easier and more fun to that? Whether it's being outside when you're creating content, whether it's, finding more fun type videos to do. But we definitely need to remember to not just be ourselves, but take it to another level. Friends, you got to be extreme with this stuff. You can't just be like pussyfooting around. You have to be extreme, which means that if I say have fun, I want you to go out and be a dumb college kid, like silly. And no offense to college kids. You guys are probably smarter than everybody on here, but you know what I mean. You have fun. Young, dumb, and full of fun. All right, next question.
I like it. All right, cool. This next one I got is an email. It was a very long email, so I've summarized it to just the points we need. So I got started posting videos about a month, and I'm doing faceless because my husband is not on board with me sharing things on social media in and around our house and kids. But I'm not seeing any progress, and honestly, faceless videos just feel like a hassle. I want to get on camera and start making normal videos, but I can't do it behind his back. What can I say or talk about to convince him there is nothing to worry about?
Yeah, you did. That's the question. How do I sell my husband? Okay. Now, ma'am, I'm not even going to say your name because I'm about to give you some raw advice. Ma'am, you got all the tools to persuade your husband. You got all the tools. Get it done. Get it done. Let me tell you something. As a man, the woman that I'm with usually gets what she wants because I'm a man. Now, I'm just giving you some life advice here, lady. I'm giving you some life advice here. Learn how to get what you want from your man. If you don't know how to get what you want from your man, that's the issue here. You need to look. It ain't about, hey, support me. It's about, hey, I'm doing something new. How can I support you? Maybe a little extra of this, a little extra of that. It's amazing how our worries and our concerns as men go away. We're pretty simple creatures. Can I get an amen in the comments?
Amen.
Now, there are ways around this as well. Filming in the car. Filming in your home backed up to a wall. I mean, I could, if I didn't want to show off the pictures in my background because I thought somebody was going to screenshot them and go and, find my, family and do, I could turn my camera. I could have it, to where I've got a different background. It doesn't have to be family photos. So where there is a will, there is a way. Your will to do this, to create something, to have a business needs to be stronger than anything else that is anybody's fears or concerns. And you have to know how to make those fears and concerns. And I've been saying this for 15 years. We have to be able to sell the people in our home. We need to be able to persuade the people in our home. We have to. We have to be able to persuade. We have to be able to communicate with the people at our home, in our home. Because I've said this time and time again, and I know the challenges of relationship. I've been divorced. I get it. But we have to have that we have to have people on board at home. So yes, that is important. And that is something that you need to address, each and every one of you. I promise you, you can get whatever you want with the right communication and also with the right support towards your spouse. Now, I was having a little fun at the beginning of this answer saying, hey, I know how to get a man to go along with anything. And all of you should too. However, being able to communicate and persuade and elicit the support of the people in your home is important. So yeah, if those of you are out there who don't have, quote, supportive spouses, who have overly concerned spouses, who have spouses who you feel is sort of holding you back and don't approve of what you're doing, that is an issue. And my final piece of advice, and I've alluded to this a minute ago, would be you're starting something new, not them. They are not choosing to be marketers and content creators. You are. And so assure them that you will do everything that you can to keep them safe, that those are concerns. Friends, even if your spouses aren't bringing that up, let them know you're on top of and aware of safety, internet safety, of keeping yourself safe. You're not doing things like giving out your address, showing the house number of your home, the license plates of your cars. Like, there's a few things that you can do that can help with protecting your privacy online. But at the end of the day, yes, you are in some ways making yourself more vulnerable by putting yourself out there on the internet, the same ways you make yourself vulnerable when you leave your home and go drive on the road. You could die. So we don't stay at home just because that's a possibility. So we have to also train our spouses to understand that even though scary things could happen, doesn't mean that we don't pursue our entrepreneurial dreams because of it. So spouse, I'm choosing to start something new. I need your support. How can I make you feel loved, supported, and safe as I start a new venture that, yes, is going to benefit you, but may also scare you or make you uncomfortable because I'm starting something new. See, you switch. Instead of saying, I'm starting something new, I need the house to change and I need everybody to support me because this is all about me. That's not what a CEO does. A CEO quietly takes care of all of their business and figures out how to get their needs met and comes back and assures the team that everything's going to be okay and we have a direction to go in. You need to do that with your family. Now, you might say, well, my husband should be doing that. He's had a household. I don't want to hear all that. Right now, you're the CEO, you're the boss, you're the person who's trying to start a business. So you need to step up and figure out what it looks like to lead. And that means not, I need you to do what I want you to do. That means that I'm doing something new and I need to make everybody around me feel safe about what I'm doing, because that's what a great CEO does. Right, Ryan? I mean, hopefully, because I've been the CEO of this company for 8 years, CEO since you've been here for 4 years. And it's like, we're not a family, but it's like my role here in the business is sort of the same role that I have at home. It's like, I gotta be the one who is letting everybody know that I'm aware of the concerns, but we are going to get through them anyways, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think a big piece of it too kind of boils. I've experienced in a different roundabout, slightly different roundabout way and situation is that, that new thing you want to do becoming a burden or an inconvenience to those people around you also can kind of be something that doesn't really help your cause. I can remember when I was a lot younger, I was a teenager. I went through this fish keeping phase, right? So I had at one point in time, I had 5 fish tanks and they were all in my bedroom. And I had like this 33-gallon one. I had a 40-gallon one, and I had all these exotic fish, and I had puffer fish and saltwater. And so I had all these different fish. I got pictures. I should have to show you sometime. And nobody cared. Everybody was cool with that. And I still lived at home with my parents at the time, and it wasn't a big deal. There wound up being a really good deal on a 75-gallon tank, but I couldn't fit it in my bedroom. So I wanted to put it in the living room. And now, mind you, I was only like 4 months into this. I was only like 4 months into this fish keeping thing at this point. So I was just hemorrhaging money into this fish keeping thing. Like, I had to have all the best fish and everything. So but I got a lot of opposition to doing that. I wasn't allowed to do that. And then eventually my parents went on a vacation. I did it anyway. I went and bought the tank, and there was a big problem when they came back and they saw this fish tank. I did the same thing with a pool table. I went online and I found a pool table that they didn't want, and I took the couch out of our living room and I put the pool table in. So, and then I had my buddies over and stuff. But anyways, that's a different story. But it wasn't a problem. I was able to do whatever I wanted up until my father was like, no, you've had these tanks for like 4 months. You're going to get over it in less than a year. And now we're going to have this big 75-gallon tank in our living room. It's going to look like shit, and you're not going to take care of it. And somebody else is going to wind up doing it. And it's like, okay, I guess I've had that pattern in the past, but nothing I wanted to do was really a problem until it was an inconvenience or a burden to some other people. And I guess my point I'm trying to make is that, how can you do something in a way where if other people really don't want to be a part of it, how can you keep it, so they're not involved as much as possible? Is there some reason that maybe you're getting some opposition to starting a business or creating content or doing some of the things online you want to do because they're feeling like it may involve them, or it may have some sort of an impact on their day-to-day that they're not really open to? And maybe they might just not want to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also boils down to asking for permission. Like, I don't need to ask my spouse for permission to have a job. That's something that is pretty, like, if I was to, go get a divorce and told the judge, well, I divorced her because she got a job, or I divorced him because he had a job. It's not so. Why is that different about a business, friends? It's like, part of what I believe causes more problems in relationships when you're starting businesses is all the talk that you probably do about what you're going to do before you actually do anything. And I believe more relationships have more problems in them because people just say things that don't need to be said. You talk about things that don't need to be talked about. You plant concern in your spouse's head that didn't need to be there, not because of the business, but because of something that you said. It's always something that you say that's the problem. It's never the thing, friends. That's why communication is so important. It's never the business. It's never the thing. It's how you sell it. It's how you frame it. This is my point about why I reiterate that Warren Buffett, if you could increase your earnings over a lifetime at least 50% by simply just improving your communication. And so to me, it's like, why are we sitting down asking our spouses for permission? And instead, what we need to do is we need to have some certainty and some conviction about what we're doing. And say, I want to do this. This is something I'm going to do. And for a lot of you, I've honestly heard of more. I've heard of more success stories where the spouse didn't even tell their spouse until they were like sure that they wanted to do it. Because your spouse your spouse is the one who sees all your shit. They've seen the things that you've started you didn't follow through with. They've heard you talk about things that you didn't do and didn't follow through with. They've got all the little kind of, the frustrations are already there because right? That's why relationships are hard. And that's without saying anything. That's just, there's a little bit of, you got to accept the person for who they are, and you do, but problems come in usually not, honestly, in relationships. My experience is problems don't come from what you do. They come from what you say and how you say it. Because if they came from anything else, you're in an abusive relationship, get out. If the person's laying their hands on you, get out, right? But the problem is that's usually not the case. Usually the case is that we screw ourselves with what we say and how we deliver the news about the fact that I'm starting a business. And we deliver it in a way that's not effective. So it's usually not the fact that your spouse is not supportive. It's you, and it's your communication and how you delivered and framed what you were doing. And maybe you gave your spouse more power than they deserve. Maybe right out of the gate, before even starting the business, you put them in the CEO role and they didn't want the CEO role, because now they're making decisions about what you're doing with your business. And to be a successful business owner, even your spouse cannot make decisions about what happens in your business. You have to be sure of it. I promise you, if you treat your spouse with respect and say, I'm doing this. This is something that I'm doing. I'm here to love and support you in any way that you need as I do it. I understand this is a big transition, but I'm doing this. I'm open for feedback. I'm open for, you request. Like, don't put me in the videos. No problem, right? Don't put our kids in the videos. No problem. That's it, though. Don't put my license plate, driver's license, house number in the videos. No problem. I'll be in the car for the next hour. I'm filming videos. You know what I mean? It's not can I, it's this is what I'm doing. And again, final bow on this with your spouse, my friends, you will learn this. Less is more. With your friends, less is more. Stop trying to explain some shit you don't even understand yet. Just quietly learn. Here's the other thing. A double bow on this, Ryan. Stop talking about what you're going to do, period, and just do it. Because the number one way to get your spouse's support in any business is to start making money. And I guarantee you they'll go, this ain't so bad. Anything I can do to help? Want me to watch the kids while you're in the car filming videos? Ask Sarah Thompson. Ask Gwen Stacio. Ask, this doesn't just go for fellas. This is ladies. Ask Kelly Roberts. Ask, ask the people in this community. This is not just a man's world. I've seen more women do this over the last year or so. So, ladies, there's hope for you. Whip our asses into shape, us fellas, and go out there and get that paper. And don't apologize about it. That's my answer, Ryan.
Man.
Fucking fire up, man.
Yeah, no, that was direct. I mean, I definitely got the point. That was good. That was we got to clip that. If Jalen's in the background, definitely clip that one. That was solid. Awesome, man. Well,
we should
hey,
a landing at some point. I mean, this is too good. We need to start like I don't know, start passing the basket, right? For like donations and stuff. Like this is fine, right?
They come in with the thing on the long stick and go down the aisle. Let me reach for you. Yep. Oh man. Well, I do have one more here, and it's a lighter one. It's a simpler one. I pulled it right straight out of our blueprints group, and this was posted like 3 or 4 days ago, and it had a few comments on it, but I know we've answered this one a lot, and it's something that a lot of people ask all the time. So I keep hearing that I'm supposed to share my story, but I don't think I really understand how to do this. I've written out my entire story, but am I just supposed to keep talking about that?
Listen, stop trying to figure out how to sell your story or tell your story, and just know that stories work in marketing, right? And one of the things that I say and have said for a long time is I try to tell a story when I'm making a point, and make a point when I'm telling a story, right? It's just a little rhymey thing that helps me remember that, telling stories helps drive my point home. And you've kind of heard us do that quite a few times, probably throughout this show. I mean, I kind of do it naturally. Ryan, you did it. The parent story, we started off with the COVID marketing story with you, right? Like I started out with Ryan because Ryan is our lead marketing coach. All of our clients know him, but you guys might not know him as much here out in the public. Now you do, and I introduced you to him. And I told a story, right? And the part of the story that I told is the part of the story that's super relevant to what we're doing here, right? Which is like marketing, and the fact that, he got COVID and was in the hospital, but he had his business running. Like, it was super relevant, right? So for all of you who are trying to figure out how to tell your story, this is not a Dear Diary. Don't air your dirty laundry and think that you need to tell people things that you don't feel comfortable with or don't want to say. It's specifically about your journey with the product or services or topics that you're selling. For example, if I was selling dog training products, it would be powerful for me to tell a story about how my dog used to be a difficult dog, but I tried a secret training method that helped him. And when you opt in, and now he's a good boy and even gets me a Diet Coke out of the fridge for me whenever I want one, opt in to see what I did, right? It's like, that's a story. That's my story, And so for you, it's sort of like the story that you're looking for is like what motivated you to do this, and how life is different, or the things that, and that's for the make money online niche, how life is different. We talk a lot about freedom. We talk a lot about, not working for a boss. I hated working for my boss. So all of these little details can be part of your story, but it doesn't need to be told all the time. It doesn't need to be your first video. It doesn't need to be in every video. It just, at some point, it's a good thing to familiarize your followers with kind of where you came from, so they just know that you're a real person, and it helps, humanize you a little bit more.
Bless you.
Excuse me. So, I mean, yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate the answer or say too much, but telling your story is really something that, if you stop trying, you do it naturally anyways. If you stop thinking about it, you do it naturally anyways. You probably do it naturally when you are talking to people every day. Last but not least, there is a simple story selling formula. It's a storytelling formula, but I've used it to sell. And I learned it in recovery, and I learned it sharing in treatment centers when I first got clean 16 years ago. And it's And I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you how I found it. I was going to treatment centers to kind of try to do things to give back, to stay clean. And it was my day to share my story. And I said to the guy I was with, we used to go every Sunday to this treatment center. I said, I don't have a story, man. I don't know what to say. He said, hey, man, just tell him what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And I was like, all right. So I told him what it was like before I got clean. I told him what happened and how I got clean. And then I told him what it's like now. And like for you all, that could be if you only ever used that, you'd be fine as a framework for stories. Because it's like what it was like, then what happened. And this is the framework to tell a story, right? It's like what it was like, and then you transition into what happened, right? Which is, and then I met so-and-so, or then I discovered such and such, or then I stumbled upon this, or then I met him, right? That's what happened. And since then, life's been different. Life has changed completely. And I'm forever grateful. And if I could share this with every single person on the planet, I would. As a matter of fact, that's my mission, right? So that's a simple framework. You could put any piece of content or scenario within that framework, and it works. If you practice that, then you'll get better at telling stories. And one last final piece of advice around stories. You're not telling the same, obviously your overarching story of how you started is similar to the overarching story that you're going to read that you're going to read on the back of a box about the founder of the business, right? I mean, sometimes they make movies out of it, right? The founder, McDonald's, Steve Jobs with Apple and that whole deal. Right. Sometimes, that's your story. That's your story of why you started your business. But there's also in content, you're not going to tell your main story over and over again in every piece of content. So that's where the making a point and telling a story, never tell a story without making a point, never make a point without telling a story. Because you can find things as you start to think like a marketer. And what will happen is the more you're around us, the more the marketing shades will happen. You will begin to see the world through different eyes in situations that have happened in your life or that do happen in your life. You can use as analogies to make a point to sell your products and services. And I'll give you a great example of this. My ex-wife was in an auto accident. I was about one or 2 years into this business, and she was in an auto accident, right? And I went home literally. Now I went to the hospital. She had a broken neck, and it wasn't like a totally broken neck, but there was like a fractured thing. So it was pretty serious, little fractured vertebrae or bone or something. Anyways, it wasn't life threatening. She wasn't going to be paralyzed. I knew that, but she was still in pretty serious condition. Well, I'm 26 years old. This was, 14 years ago or something. I went home from the hospital and wrote an email about, my woman just got into a car accident, and I tried to turn it into a marketing point, a marketing email, right? Because everything that happened in life, I was tying into my marketing, right? It was like I was trying to make a point, so I was using anything that happened in my life as a story. Well, because she was subscribed to my email list, because I would always send her my emails to proofread them to make sure there was no spelling or grammar errors, because I was a ninth grade dropout. I am a ninth grade dropout. Well, she's in the hospital. She gets the email about her being in a car accident. She's like, this too soon, with a broken neck. So look, you can push the limit here with using story in your marketing. That would be an example of how I pushed the limit in the past. But my point here is that it doesn't particularly have to be your same kind of origin hero story about how you started the business that you're in. It can also be micro stories along the way. of things that are happening or have happened in your life that you tie in to make your point about what it is that you're selling.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's incredibly clear, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. Especially this person who posted the question was that, and the story is always going to be something relevant, some kind of event that took place, something that just makes it easier to understand what you're saying and why. It's not introducing yourself over and over and over again, which is actually what I thought initially in the beginning. That was my initial confusion, because I hear share my story. I'm like, well, it's not, how many times can I share the same story over and over again? It's not that interesting. And it's like, well, actually, okay, I'm not talking about from, childhood all the way up. Because that's what I did. I kind of wrote all that down, right? When I was a kid, right, is how my things started. It's stories that help you make a point. I think in its simplest form, you could even look at like a product review, right? A product review is usually that, right? I was looking for this because I got it and this is what happened. And now I either regret the purchase or I don't, right? And that's a story as well, right? Just in a very simpler, very condensed form, that's probably 4 or 5 sentences, right? So in your content, your story can be 4 or 5 sentences. It could be even 1 sentence, right? It could just be enough to add a little bit of context or enough to give you a little bit of credibility to what you're talking about, right? I'm not just sharing an opinion on this, right? I've lived through it and dealt with it, and this is what happened for me, right? And that could be a story that gives you a lot of credibility in a certain area. So that's really, at least in my opinion, that's where storytelling is so valuable. That's why I love using it so much, just because it can do so many different things. There's such a variety of benefits that come along with it, as opposed to just kind of sharing facts and sharing just straight information on its own. Throw a story to go along with it that makes it make more sense, and it'll make it more valuable too. Whatever that information is you're trying to either just share or sell, that story can make that information far more valuable to the person that you're attempting to share it with.
Well, I mean, think about religious texts, man. I mean, if story was not in, though, well, I mean, you could even argue that if parable wasn't in some of religious scripture, that the stories wouldn't have been carried on through generation to generation. You got to think about, how a story can get changed when a person tells it from person to person. So imagine if some of that information it would have never been able to be, it had to be put in the way that it was for it to last thousands of years. And that's the same in any religious or spiritual text. And what you'll find in most of those religious and spiritual texts, the reason why so many people are involved in religion, and it is because the stories, the parables, the analogies are simply put. I mean, they're literally, I mean, they may be confusing in terms of some of the older language they use in some of the, older versions, King James Bible, for example, but it's loaded with stories, it's loaded with parables, it's loaded with analogies, and that's what helps drive the points home of these spiritual teachers who you find in these texts. Of course, Jesus was a great storyteller and parable user as well. Like, I'm not talking about from, I'm talking about the greatest storytellers of all time. You know, it is a tool using an analogy or a parable. I often say this, there is nothing in marketing more powerful than the perfect analogy. Nothing. There is nothing, because you are literally trying to introduce, usually when you're selling something, a new concept to somebody. So relating it to something that they understand it's crucial, right? And so don't be so stuck on story. Remember also that analogies are really powerful too, right? Giving them some sort of an understanding in like about something that they're familiar with is powerful. So that's it, man. For me, I mean, let's bring this plane in for a landing. We're 11:59. I mean, I didn't even plan to go an hour. I was like 20, 25 minutes, and here we are, man. Thanks for bringing the questions and the heat. We'll do this. We'll do this again in the very near future. We're mixing it up. I want Ryan to be out here with me on Wake Up Legendary a lot more, because he brings so much value, so much heat, so much comedy, so much just, it is the whole nine, man. There's so many analogies, so many parable, all the things, man. We're blessed to have you, brother. Get out of here. I know you have a busy day and lots going on. And of course, looking forward to hanging out and seeing you in Austin, Texas at our mastermind event on January 31st through February 2nd. If anybody wants to attend, there's still a few tickets left. You can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. Ryan, peace, brother.
Peace, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, my friends, we will see you back here tomorrow for another episode. If you want, again, to start education, go through one of our challenges, get a ticket to our upcoming mastermind in Austin, Texas, go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll, legendarymarketer.com/enroll. If you want to hear and see a lot of content from Ryan and I, we're putting out tons more new content. Go and follow us over on Instagram at Legendary Marketer. Okay, Instagram Legendary Marketer. Go and follow our Instagram, and you will sure to be entertained and educated with lots of cool content from the both of us. And we'll see you back here, my friends, tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.